让第八、第七这两节的车厢下面，因为里。
And also we see there is a big distortion of carriage 7 and 8. There is a possibility that there may be some remains of the deceased under the carriage 7 and 8. And the local authorities is trying to lift all of those distorted and deformed carriages. And the casualties has been sent to nearby hospitals for treatment. And actually, this morning, Tsai Ing-wen, the Taiwan leader, is actually taking the helicopters to visit some of the injuries, and also she expressed condolences to the relatives of the victims. And the Taiwan authorities will do what they can to comfort the teams and also try to save more lives from this incident. So now I'm standing in front of the emergency center, and soon we will have the press briefing from the Taiwan authority. And soon we will be joining this press conference to see the latest update from the Taiwan authority. So today is also a holiday from the Qingming Festival, the Tomb Sweeping Festival. But if we look at the station, you see there are very few passengers today. The Taiwan authorities promised that within 7 days they will try to restore the damaged tracks and resume the traffic. So this is some of the previous image about this derailment incident. And yesterday, because of the Romney Park construction vehicle, it caused a derailment incident for the Taiwan Railway Tailuge. And right now we have 162 people injured and also have a dozen of people dead. And because of this Qingming Festival, we have altogether around 500 people in the train. Also, we have to further investigate to see whether we have initiated the emergency brake from the Romney Park construction vehicle. Now I would like to connect with our journalists to understand the latest situation. So I'm staying in Ciji Hospital of Hualien, and this time we have around 150 to 60 people injured from this incident, and all of these casualties has been sent to 6 hospitals in Taiwan. And as this place is quite close to the incident site, and these hospitals will receive some of the critical injured passengers. So for Ciji Hospital, it admitted 55 people, 7 critically injured, and also have over 30 people mildly injured. And 40 people are living in the ward, and also some people are living in the ICUs. At around 9 o'clock, the president also coming out to give us a briefing about the admittance of the injured. He said there also a 7-year-old girl was hurt by this incident. However, with 5 hours of rescue, this girl's life is saved and she was transferred to the ICU ward. As for the death toll, just actually the same as yesterday. We have 50 people lost their lives because of these incidents, and 30 people we have identified their identity, and also for the other 20 we have compared their DNAs, and for some victims maybe their body parts are not complete. We need further investigation to identify who they are. And in the early morning, we also see some people has been struck by the passengers. And also there are news saying that maybe some people are stuck in under carriage number 3, so we still have people working on site. So for the carriage 1, almost all the passengers has been removed from the carriage, and also workers are staying on site for the restoration of the track. So for the resumption of the operation of the train will resume on about April the 8th. And also, as for the arrest warrants, yesterday they have already found one person. So people are saying maybe there is no emergency brake for this construction vehicle, but these suspect said that he already initiated the emergency brake. However, the investigation will reopen today. We have to wait for the final result of this investigation. And also, the police departments are still trying to contain the suspect. This is what I have. Please stay tuned with us with more information about this derailment incident. So this is some of the earlier footages about this derailment incident. We are actually interviewing some of the passengers who has been survived from this incident. You can see it's all dark inside of the passage. So for this derailment incident happened when this railway traveled to Taiwan, and one of the wrongly parked construction vehicle fell from the slope and hit the passages. And also number 1 and 2 carriages derailed from the track. So it actually takes around over like 400 people. So we have about 60 people in carriage 1 and 2, and these people are saved because these 2 carriages just derail and do not have any distortion or damage. However, there is a largely deformed for the carriage 5 to 8. So right now we have a construction happened in Qingshui Tunnel. So there are some of the construction vehicles parked above the tunnel. And this may happen like caused the incident yesterday. Once again, we will talk about the incident happened yesterday. So this is the Taloco from the Taiwan Railway, and yesterday when it's departing for the Taitung city and it experienced the derailment incident. It actually causing 50 people dead from this incident. And also we have 162 people injured from this incident. And this time, because we have the Qingming Festival, that's why many people are trying to buy a standing ticket from the passenger train. So for now, we are still open for investigation to see whether the driver has initiated the emergency brake.
主播，那我现在呢就在台湾花莲的慈济医院的急诊室门口。那此次呢共有伤者150到160人，然后分送到了台湾东部的6家医院，其中宜兰苏澳那边有2家，而在花莲本地有4家。那因为花莲这边离事故现场比较近，所以花莲本地收治的都是重伤患者，而宜兰那边收治的是轻伤患者。那我身后的慈济医院呢是此次收治重伤患者中收治人数最多的一家医院，它现在是总共收治了有55位伤者，其中重伤7人，中级伤有16人，轻伤32人。那目前在医院当中还有16人目前在住院，其中有14个是住在病房，而有2个人是住在加护病房当中。那刚才9点的时候是在这个慈济医院的急诊大厅，他们的院长助理有出来去关于他们的收治情况做一个简单的介绍。 那他也介绍到说，在重伤患者中还有一个7、8岁的一个小女孩，在这个车祸当中是受到了颅骨的损伤，是颅骨凹陷，然后也是非常严重。但是经过5个小时的救治，目前已经进入了加护病房。那除了慈济医院之外，还有很多是收治在本地的另外的几家医院。那另外关于这个其他的这个死亡情况呢，还是跟昨天晚上最后的数字是一样，还是有50人罹难。那这50人当中，其中有30人是已经确认了死者身份，然后30人中的20多个人已经经家属辨认有认过身份了。另外还有可能一些人因为这个遗体可能不够完整，然后还在等待家属进行慢慢辨认。那其实这个搜索工作在昨天晚上的时候就已经告一段落了，但是今天凌晨一度都出现了发现有疑似乘客夹在一节车厢底下，然后刚刚出现的新闻还有说第3车厢可能还有发现乘客遗体的情况出现，所以其实还是有救援人员在现场继续勘查车体。那另外呢，在现场因为1号车厢是受损最小的，里面的乘客全部撤出，所以1号车厢经过勘探结束已经慢慢的被拖走了。然后另外铁轨的这个整个的修复和复原可能会一直持续到4月8号才能重新开通。那关于这个事故原因，就像您刚才提到的，是因为有这个工程车从边坡滑下，然后昨天晚上这个工程车的负责人是义祥工业社的一个李某的这样一个负责人，已经被收至花莲本地刑警大队去进行。
Was under arrest for further investigation. However, in the evening, Mr. Lee is very anxious because people were saying that he did not initiate the emergency brake. And he said that he actually initiated and also used a storm and tried to block the construction vehicle. And today the investigation will reopen, and we have to wait for further details about this derailment incident. And right now the police department already keep Mr. Lee under detainment. That's what I have. Thank you. So we will please stay tuned for us to understand more about this incident. This is also some of the previous footage about what happened yesterday. You could see it's all dark and many people try to escape themselves from this deformed train. And some of the parts are actually falling apart from the passenger train. So we could see for some of the trains, the carriages has been stuck inside of the track, but some of the passages actually deformed and distorted because of the crush. And many people try to escape from the stopped trains. So for this, Tailuge Railway is trying to depart for Taidong. And also one of the wrongly parked construction vehicle fell from a slope and hit the passages of the railway. So it carries about altogether 494 people. 20 people are in mild situation, and all of those victims and the injured has been sent to hospital for treatment. But why this accident happened? It is reported that there is a construction on top of the tunnel, and one of the construction vehicle fell from the slope and hit the passengers on the passenger train. So for this incident happened yesterday, and this is how it happened. One of the wrongly parked construction vehicle fell from the above the tunnel and hit 2 carriages of the Tailuge. So we also have the interview with the driver and the captain of the Tailuge train. And for this train, we have 8 carriages after the incident. Number 1 and 2 carriage derailed, and number 5 to number 8 carriages deformed, and many passengers try to escape from the carriages from the windows. So here are some of the interviews with the survivors, and for some of the people, they're in the number 1 and number 2 carriage, which are not being deformed. And for the injuries, we have sent these people to the nearby hospital as soon as possible. And this train departed from Xinbei to Taidong. However, the incident happened in the Qingshui Tunnel. So right now we have the Qingming Festival coming in Taiwan, and altogether we have around 500 people inside of the passenger train. So after the incident, we have actually changed the route to a single-way transportation. And this incident also caused some of the inconveniences of the transportation in Taiwan Railway. Welcome back to our special program on the derailment incident of Tailuge. So yesterday, this railway has been transported to
车，我们的医务人员在第一时间赶到，还有我们的救灾总队，因为我们的骨科医师是担任自愿担任这个队长，也到现场去。那个现场很不容易，因为它火车是火车道，那我们开车是有到公路在旁边停下来要下去，所以抢救上有一定的难度。再加上它是卡在那个
So for the rescue
隧道
work,
里面，
we have a lot of
所以
challenges.
只有他自己能够
For
行
some
动，能够
of
爬出来。
the carriages
第一时
actually
间里
stop
面我们
inside
可
of
以
the track, and
救，
also
所以
some
第一
of
批出来
the
都是比较轻伤，
victims they actually
稍
stop
微
inside
微伤
of
而
the
已。
track.
那第二
So
批
they need
我
to
们的救护
defend
人员出来，
themselves to
中伤
escape
真正
themselves. And for the second batch of people, we found some people critically injured.
那个地方现场。
So that's why we have more deaths from the second batch of the rescue. And for the first batch, we are trying to bring some of the people with light injuries out of the track.
前段就是1到后段，后段是1到6车。
As I said, for this derailment incident, so actually this train has been broken down into 2 parts. So we have some deformed pieces for carriage 7 and 8. So we need to send our rescue workers inside of the carriages to find out whether there are more victims that have been stuck inside of the carriage. After we find these people, we will send them to hospitals. We also dispatch ambulance on site to carry all of those victims. We are also using the train to transport some of the injuries to the nearby hospital. But unfortunately, because of the long distance, some of the victims arrive in the hospital in late night. But during the rescue operation, you could see we have mobilized all the available resources. We dispatched the ambulance in front of the train station. Also, we have the medical workers staying on site to provide assistance. I believe within one day we are able to send all of the found victims to the hospital for treatment. And we believe we have very fast response for the rescue work. And maybe later you could ask some of the representatives from the Department of Health to see how they handle all of those victims. And we believe we have enough capacity to admit all of those injured victims. So when you arrive on site, how do you feel? Yesterday, when I came to the tunnel, we also see they're trying to save some of the injured. And also some victims, they have missing body parts when they're being rescued. It is quite shocking indeed. It is the most severe incident happened in Taiwan, especially in the Taiwan railway. This is a devastating incident. And we have to do what we can to save all of those victims. We also have to pay attention to the severity of the situation of different victims. And for some people that are critically injured, we have to transfer to hospitals for treatment as soon as possible. And also we have to pay attention to those people with light situation. So we don't want to overload the medical system, so we are sending the injuries to 4 different hospitals according to the severity of their situation. We have the ICU wards, and also we just have a general hospital to receive those people with mild injury. But still, I believe the emergency response system is operating in an orderly manner. In the past, we may have a similar situation, and also we are responding to this incident effectively. It's not just about the Tzu Chi Hospital. We also have hospitals in Hualien to provide support to admit the injuries. We also have the ambulance staying on site, and also ambulance from the fire service department to provide support. So as for the rescue work, can you tell us more about the challenges? So in the past, we also have an incident from the Puyoma railway, and the situation is a little bit different. For Puyoma, some of the carriages would just derail from the track, but this time, some of the carriages were stuck on the track, and some of these carriages were deformed because of the bumping of the construction vehicle. Thank you very much. And just now, we are interviewing with one of the local officials of Taiwan, and he actually gave us some introduction about the rescue work happened yesterday. And later, we will have the president of Tzu Chi Hospital to give us an update on the rescue work. So for Tzu Chi Hospital, we receive over 50 wounded victims. So the president of Tzu Chi Hospital is trying to brief the media on their rescue work.
那刚才慈济的工作人员给我们介绍，我们可以再单独访问一下刚才跟我们受访的这个。
And maybe later we will have a exclusive interview with the doctor from the Tzu Chi Hospital. So good morning. You just talk about the rescue work that has been happened on site. Can you tell us more about this? So when you arrive on the site after the incident happened, after I am informed about this incident, I traveled to the tunnel immediately. We actually following the ambulance to arrive at the tunnel, the incident site. So when you're traveling to the site, you just share some of your observations, and I believe you have been engaged in some of the rescue work in the past. But actually, it is our first time to participate in such a serious derailment incident. Because this time, I would say this incident is devastating. And also, I believe the Tzu Chi Hospital received some critically injured passengers. So what is the current situation? So, well, we have to do a lot of the operations and surgeries towards this critically injured pressure. We have to make sure these people can sustain their lives. But fortunately, for those who have been rescued from the tunnel, their condition remains stable. And most of these critically injured passengers are in stable condition. However, if we found some people that passed away on site, well, it is very difficult for us to save them. And also, we found some of the passengers, maybe their legs were stuck by the deformed carriage. And this is also very difficult to save them because they will lose huge amount of blood. So we have to do some of the emergency rescue on site. We tried to save that passenger, but unfortunately, he lost too many blood, and it's very difficult for us to transfer him to the nearby hospital. And it takes around half an hour to transfer those passengers to the hospital. And also, we are saying maybe we could use another train to bring some of the injured passengers to other places for treatment because it is much faster. And then we decided for some of the victims and some of the passengers, if they're not suffering from severe injury, and these people will take the train, and these people will be sent to the nearby hospital. Thank you very much for your introduction.
那刚才呢，我们就是又补充采访了一下这个慈济医院的执行长。
So just now we have interview with the president from the Tzu Chi Hospital, and he gave us more details about the medical work. And soon we will visit another official from the Tzu Chi Hospital to see whether he can give us more details. At the same time, we need to provide support and assistance to the family members of these passengers. We have to reach out to those people. And we all know some people are critically injured and some of the passengers even lost their lives. So we have to comfort the family members of these victims and provide support to these people. And yesterday, we received one critical injured passenger, and we have done the emergency work for over like 30 minutes. But unfortunately, we are not able to bring her back. We have to comfort the family members of those passengers. We have to do a lot of counselings to some of these family members. And with our efforts, actually today, and some of these family members, they are calming down because we do not want to create a chaos inside of the hospital. We all know this is a devastating incident, but still, for the survivors, they have to move on. So right now, the rescue work is very smooth, and also some of those critical injured passengers have been saved.
疏散了大约60人，而消防到场时约有20人轻伤，赶紧送往医院急救。重大撞击也导致5到8节车厢变形，救难人员赶到，先将轻伤的患者救出送医。这地方的隧道南北向是分开的，目前北上方向的隧道可以单线双向通行。而意外到底怎么发生？目前了解，当时台铁大清水路段正在实施明隧道工程，疑似是施工的厂商没有将工程车停好，才会从上方滑落，造成太鲁阁号出轨。
好，我们再来关注一下台湾列车出轨事故。4月2号上午，台湾铁路太鲁阁号408次列车在从新北市树林区车站发车驶往台东市的途中，行至花莲县大清水隧道时发生了出轨事故，造成车辆擦撞隧道壁，多节车厢严重变形。根据本台记者提供的最新数据，事故已经造成50人罹难，其中已有30人的生命。
So here we have some like recap of previous incidents happened in Taiwan Railway.
100型自强号与当时一辆莒光号南下列车发生侧撞。
And back in 1991, we also have the Puyoma model of the Taiwan train, and also caused over 100 people dead. In 2012, another model of the Tailu one also caused like 22 people injured and over 10 people dead from the incident.
2018年，普悠玛列车行经宜兰县新马站前弯道时出现翻覆，造成18人死亡，187人受伤。2021年，408次太鲁阁号在行经大清水隧道时发生出轨事故，酿成重大伤亡。事故发生在上午9点28分，一辆正在山坡上作业的工程车滑落，未能及时处理，行驶中的408次太鲁阁号列车与这辆滑落的工程车发生碰撞。
我们的火车撞到这个卡车了，对呀，撞到卡车掉下来，火车都已经变形了。
你是说觉得是有东西卡在铁轨是吗？
我真的不确定，因为我在一车感受到就是紧急刹车，然后车体错动，就这样，然后就停下来了。
408次太鲁阁号列车共有8节车厢，事故发生后，第1、2节车厢出轨，第3至第8节车厢卡在隧道内，5、6、7、8节车厢变形严重，乘客多从窗户或车顶逃出，一些逃出的乘客心有余悸。
他前后仰的时候，我就已经撞到前面后面，然后我就稍微晕过去。
火车在刹车的时候，因为一段刹车嘛，然后后来就严重的那个撞，然后我们就坐到后面。
好，各位观众，那我现在还是在这个台铁灾害应变中心呢。
Dear viewers,
现场，那刚刚记者会呢。
And right now I'm still standing in front of the emergency center, and actually the press conference just concluded. And right now I will bring you the latest information about the press conference. Because of the poor signal, I'm not able to give you the latest situation on site. So now I would like to give you a recap. And right now 50 people are dead from this incident. And right now we have 178 people injured from this incident. And we have only like 40 people staying in the hospital. And 4 people are staying in the ICU ward because these people are critically injured. As for the rescue site, for the carriage 1 and carriage 2, these 2 carriages have been derailed from the track, and these 2 carriages have been lifted from the hoisting machine. And also, for the head of the number 6 carriage is seriously deformed, and also they're saying maybe some remaining bodies inside of carriage 6. So it is possible that in carriage 7 and 8, maybe we are able to find some of the dead bodies under carriages 7 and 8, but the rescue work will continue. However, we are not able to use some of the large-size hoisting machines to lift the carriages 7 and 8, so we may use some of the smaller size of the hoisting machines to remove number 7 and 8 carriages. And it is estimated that it takes at least 7 to 8 days to lift all of the carriages of Tailuge. So as for the cause for this incident, we also hear some key information from the Department of the Transport. And for the construction vehicle that has been hitting the carriage, it is very heavy. It is about tons of the weight. And for this construction vehicle, it is wrongly parked on the slope, and it actually fell from above the tunnel from 9:30 a.m. However, at around 9:30 a.m., one of the trains safely passed the tunnel, meaning that for this construction vehicle has not yet fell from the tunnel from 9:30, before 9:30 a.m. As for the reason why this construction vehicle fell from the tunnel, we have to better understand it. So the police will continue to investigate this issue to see whether the driver has not yet initiated the emergency brake. All in all, this construction vehicle is wrongly parked on the slope. And that's why this vehicle will fall from above the tunnel and hit the carriages of the passenger train. And also there's no fences on the construction vehicle. And for the Department of Transportation, they said they have to look into this incident and also to find people accountable for this incident. And this time, among the 178 injured passengers, one is from Chinese mainland, but he is not heavily injured. And we have to find out more about the situation of those passengers. And of course, they have to continue their work to see whether there are more passengers trapped inside of the carriages. And for the prosecutors, they have been working 24 hours yesterday and checked the identity of those deceased. And also, they have to restore some of the body parts of the deceased. So with their efforts, right now 44 dead bodies have been identified. However, for some deceased passengers, it is very difficult to identify their status and identity, and the local authorities have to take some measures and also ask their family members to identify the body and identify their relatives. But right now, the DNA has been extracted from all of those deceased, and hopefully in the upcoming 2 days, we are able to find out the identities for all of those deceased. So this is the latest update on site. So for the Taiwan Railway, it have like 2 models of the trains, the Tailuge train and also the Puyoma train. And actually, there's many incidents happened in the past 2 decades. And one incident happened in 1981, and one of the train was hit the bridge, and the 4 carriages were fell into the river, and 130 people were suffered from critical injury. And in 1996, another model of Puyoma hit another train, causing 30 people dead and 112 people injured. In 2012, the model of Tailuge hit one of the construction vehicle, causing 12 people injured. And also, one of the model of the Puyoma was suffered from the sandslide, also causing the injuries and deaths. In 2012, the 408 Tailuge, when it passed the Qingshui Tunnel, it also derailed from the track, also caused a lot of casualties. So now we will talk about the incident happened yesterday. One of the wrongly parked construction vehicle fell from above the tunnel and also hit the carriages of the Tailuge passenger train. We also have the interview with some of the survivors of this incident. So for the captain, and he said he cannot feel what happened. It's just a strong shake, and then they have to break all of the trains. So after the incident number 1 and 2, passage carriage derailed from the track, and also we have seen some distortion of number 5 to number 8 carriages. When these survivors thinking back of this incident, they still feel very frightened. So this is the tunnel where we have the incident of the Tailuge. So this is the number 1 carriage, and actually for number 1 to 4 carriage, they are not seriously damaged. However, for number 6 to number 8 carriages, we have serious distortion, and also many people lost their lives because of this incident. After the incident, some of these injured passengers has been sent to 4 nearby hospitals for treatment. So for this Tailuge 408, it depart from Xinbei to Taidong. However, when they pass the Qingshui Tunnel, and it was hit by the falling of construction vehicle. For the track, it used to be a 2-way transportation route, and after the incident happened, this train route has been changed to single-way transportation.
台铁现在运行的车辆目前主要有泰鲁格号和普悠玛自强号2种车型。台湾中时新闻网。
So we have like two major models of the Taiwan Rail. One is Taroko, the other one is Puyoma. And also, we would like to give you a recap of some of the incidents happened in the past. So the first incident happened in 1981. You could see like the 4 carriages have been derailed from the track and also causing the driver's death and also 130 people injured. And in 1991, the EMU model was hit with one of the other train that has been traveled south, causing 122 injured and 30 people dead. And in 2002, it hit into one of the construction vehicle, also the Taroko passenger train, causing over 10 people dead. Another model of the Puyoma used to suffer from the sandstorm and the sandslide. Also, it will cause a great number of casualties and injuries. In 2021, the derailment incident happened yesterday and also caused a huge number of casualties and deceased. So this incident happened in 9:28 a.m. One of the construction vehicle fell from the above the tunnel, and this construction vehicle hit the carriages of the passenger train. According to some of the survivors, and some of the carriages of the Taroko were seriously deformed. And for the captains, actually, he felt there's not much shaking, and also he just can sense the brake of this passenger train. And with this incident, number 1 and 2 carriages derailed from the track, and also we have serious distortion of carriage 5, 6, 7, 8, and some of the survivors, they try to escape themselves from the windows. So when they're thinking back of the incidents, they still feel very frightened. And yesterday we have this passenger train incident. It happened right here in this tunnel, and this is the number 1 carriage. And actually carriage number 1 and 2 are in better condition. However, there is a big distortion of number 5 to number 80 carriages, and also this is one of the most serious incidents happened in Taiwan. And after the incident, for the injuries and the injured passengers, they have been sent to the 6 nearby hospitals for treatment. And for this train, it departed from Xinbei and head to Taidong. However, an incident occurs when it passes the tunnel. And now it is the Qingming Festival, and also we have altogether 494 passengers on the train. It used to be a 2-way transportation route, and in order not to have an impact to the railway system, this route has been changed to a single-way transportation.
台铁现在运行的车辆目前主要有泰鲁格号和普悠玛自强号两种车型。台湾中时新闻网整理了。
We have two major models for the Taiwan Railway. Taiwan Rail, one is the Taroko, the other one is Puyoma. And we have several incidents happened in the past. Back in 1981, one of the train hit one of the construction vehicle, causing 4 carriages damaged, and also the driver of the construction vehicle dead, and also 30 people dead from the train, and also over 100 people injured. And in 1991, the passenger train traveled north, overturned on the track, also causing 100 people injured. In 2002, the Taroko train hit one of the construction vehicles, also causing 118 people injured. In 2002, one of the train suffered from the landslide, with 17 people injured, with 4 people with critically injured. Yesterday, in 2021, April the 2nd, also there is a derailment incident that happened in the tunnel of Qingshui. This incident happened at 9:28 a.m. One of the construction vehicles fell from the tunnel. So for this construction vehicle actually hit the carriages of the passenger train. You could see some of the carriages were seriously deformed because of the crash. And for the captain, they're saying that we have an emergency brake, and then it is a series shocking of all of those carriages. We have like 8 carriages of Taroko, and number 1 and 2 derail from the track. Number 5, 6, 7, 8 have a series distortion, and number 3 and 4 also stuck inside of the track. And when we are interviewing some of the survivors, when they're thinking back of the incident, they still feel very frightened. And yesterday in the morning, this is where the incident happened. So now you could see the number 1 carriage and number 1 and 4 have minor damage. However, for the number 5, 6, 7, 8 carriages, they have a serious distortion. And we could see the death toll is keep rising, and also it is one of the most severe incidents happened in Taiwan. And after the incident, so for the injuries, they have been sent to the nearby hospitals for treatment. So for this passenger train, it departed from Xinbei to Taidong, and when it passed the Qingshui Tunnel, the incident happened. Because of the Qingming Festival, we have 494 people board the passenger train. And this route used to be a 2-way route, and because of the incident, the route has been changed to the single-way route.
球新闻中国播报，观众朋友大家好，
大家好，
欢迎收看新闻节目。首先来看这期节目的主要内容。台铁泰鲁格号列车严重脱轨事故已经造成50人死，78人。
So we have the news coming up for the derailment incident for the Taiwan Taroko, and it's caused like 50 people dead and 178 people injured. People injured and also 50 people dead from the incidents. But right now we are not able to find out some of the identities of those deceased. So for all of those casualties, number will continue to change. At around 11 a.m., we just have this interview and also the press conference. So I would like to connect to one of our journalists to see what happened there. So yes, today in the press conference, we have once again verified that one of the Chinese mainland students suffered from the minor injury from this incident. But if we look at the casualty list, we are not able to see the name of those Chinese mainland students in the list. But fortunately, he just suffered from the minor injury. And of course, the Taiwan authority will continue to look into this incident and to see whether there are more victims from this incident. And also, we understand that for the wrongly parked construction vehicle, it must fall from above the tunnel after 9:30 a.m. Because before the 9:30 a.m., another passenger train was able to pass the tunnel safely. That's why we think for this construction vehicle, it must fall from the above tunnel after 9:30 a.m. So it fell from the period of 9:30 to 9:28 a.m. But right now, we are still looking into the cause for the falling of the construction vehicle. So one reason is that maybe the driver is not able to initiate the emergency brake, or there may be other malfunctioning of the construction vehicle. In the press conference occurred earlier, and we have identified like 50 people dead from the incident, and also we have 178 people injured from this incident. And also we have 4 people in the ICU ward. But we believe this casualty number will continue to rise because this morning in the rescue work in number 1 and number 2 carriage, we are able to lift some of the hoisting machines. And also when we are trying to observe the other carriages we found in carriage number 6, we are seeing some of the body parts stuck inside of the carriage. So right now we need to do what we can to lift all of those deformed carriages to see whether there was some remaining parts of the bodies stuck inside of the carriages. So we need to have this smaller size of the hoisting machine to clean up the track. So it is reported that it needs at least 7 days to resume the operation of this section of the track. And right now we are able to find over 30 people with their identities, and also the prosecutors, they are trying to extract the DNA and try to restore the body of those deceased and also the body parts. So by doing all of that, they're able to find out the identities of those victims. And for some of the dead bodies, we are not able to find out some of the ID information. At this stage, the prosecution centers will set up 2 service centers, and also they will provide support for the family members of these victims. So maybe their family members will help to find out the identity of those deceased passengers. And this morning, the Taiwan leader also visited Hualien today, and also they will lower the regional flag to send out condolences. And also the Taiwan office of the State Council also sent out notification to express the condolences to the deceased and also the family members of the victims. So believe this time it will help to boost some of the friendly interaction between the 2 sides of the strait. And if we have more information, we will let you know. Thank you very much for your report. And soon we will connect to another journalist who is doing the interview at the CGTN Hospital of Hualien. Can you tell us more about the rescue work progress? So this morning I'm staying in the emergency room of the CGTN Hospital. And today there is a press conference with the medical workers, and also they have given us an update on the rescue work. For most of the critically injured passengers has been sent to the CGTN Hospital. They have admitted 56 patients, among which 7 are in critical condition. And also we have 14 people in general patients. And also he said that one of the patients is only 6-year-old, and she is critically injured. And right now she was staying in the ICU ward, and right now she did not have any challenges for the life. And also for this young little girl, her sister lost her life during the transfer of the patients, but unfortunately the elder sister is now in stable condition. And also the CEO and also the president of the hospital also gave us some updates on the rescue work. And this time, because we are at the Qingming Festival, there may be some traffic jams for the tracks, and it takes at least half an hour to bring all of those injured passengers to the hospital. But half an hour is too long, and for some of the critically injured passengers are not able to sustain their lives and lost their lives yesterday. And then for some of the people who are suffering from the minor injury, we are able to transport these people with trains to the nearby hospital. And this morning, as we could see, the number 5 and number 6 carriages are not in poor condition, we are able to lift these 2 carriages out of the track. But for some of the other carriages, especially those that are seriously deformed, we have to do more work to lift some of those carriages. So thank you very much for Yu Tong's report. On April the 8th, the passenger train was hit by the construction vehicle, causing 50 people dead and 178 people injured. And right now, the rescue work are still going. And according to the police department, they're still doing their work and try to find out more remaining bodies of the deceased. So for this incident has been happened for over 24 hours, and for the rescue team, they're still staying on site. And for some of people, some parts of their body are actually trapped at the inside of the track. So we have to remove the track to lift all of those bodies. And also the Department of the Transportation also gave a press conference to update the latest situation, and they are saying they have to do what they can and try to clean all of those deformed carriages and also to remove some of the bodies. So right now we have found 44 bodies and also 35 with identity, and also for the other remaining bodies, we still need to check their identities. And the Department of Police need to take additional 2 days to find out all the identities of the passengers. So it is reported that the cause of this incident is that the wrongly parked construction vehicle fell from the tunnel and hit the carriages of the passenger train. So actually this time it is an accident, and also the person in charge is bringing to detention. So for the Department of the Transportation has indicated that for the wrongly parked construction vehicle fell from above the tunnel and hit the carriages of Tarraco, but still they're looking into the cause for the falling off of the construction vehicle. So Mr. Lee, who is the person in charge from the wrongly parked construction vehicle, was sent and arrested, being detained by the police department. Also at the same time, the prosecutors also visiting the construction companies to find out more certificates. After the incidents happened, and people are saying that we do not have enough safety infrastructure to protect all of those construction vehicles as well as the train. And there's no braking mechanisms that has been put in place for the construction vehicle. And the driver for the construction vehicle said for some of the infrastructure work should be done by January. But right now, some of those constructions are still underway. And this is very dangerous because no fences were found on the slope.
以美国为首的北约不要向乌克兰东部地区派兵，如果北约有所行动，俄罗斯将会采取。
And also we have a list for some of the incidents happened in the past few decades. The first incident happened in 1981. You see there is a malfunctioning of the braking and some of the carriages were capsized and also causing 30 people dead and 130 people injured. In 1991, the train traveled north, hit another train heading south and also causing 30 people dead and 112 people injured. In 2002, the Taroko train had to north hit one of the construction vehicle causing 111 people dead and injured. And another carriage incident happened in 2012 and also causing 4 people injured and 30 people critically injured. In 2021, which is yesterday, when the Taroko 408 when it traveled through the tunnel and also caused a devastating incident. The incident happened in 9:28 a.m. and one of the construction vehicles on the slope fell from the tunnel and it actually hit the carriages of the passenger train. So people were saying that the truck actually hit the train and although caused the distortion of the carriages. For 408 Taroko Passage train, it has 8 carriages. And after the incident, the number 1 and 2 carriages derailed and also 3 and 4 stuck in the track and also have a heavy distortion of number 5 to number 8 carriages. So when the passengers thinking back of this incident, they still feel very frightened. And for the incident happened right here at the tunnel, and this is the number 1 the carriage, and for number 1 to number 4 carriage, this is not seriously damaged, but still the death toll is still rising, and actually we have the most number of the casualties in the past 4 decades. After the incident, some of the injured passengers have been sent to the nearby hospital for treatment. So for this passenger train departed from Xinbei to Taidong. However, an incident happened in the Qingshui Tunnel. Because of the Qingming Festival, altogether we have 494 passengers on board. And this used to be a 2-way route. In order to ensure the transportation, the route has been adjusted to single-way route.
台铁现在运行的车辆目前